ओमज्ञानातिमिरन्दस्य ज्ञानञ्जनशलाकया चक्षुरुन्मिलितं येन तस्मै श्रीगुरवे नमः। श्रीचैतन्यमनोभीष्टं स्थापितं येन भूतले स्वयं रूपा कदा मह्यं ददाति स्वपदान्तिकं। वन्देऽहं श्रीगुरुं श्रीयुक्तापदकमलं श्रीगुरुं वैष्णवांश्च श्रीरूपा साग्रजाता सहगना रघुनाथान्वितं तं सजीवं साद्वैतं सवधूतं परिजनसहितं कृष्णचैतन्यदेवं श्रीराधा कृष्णपदसागना ललिता श्रीशकादितंश्च हे कृष्ण करुण सिंधु दीनबंधु जगत्पते गोपेश गोपिका कंता राधा कंता नमोस्तुते तप्त कंचन गौरंगी रवि वृंदावनेश्वरी वृषभानुसुते देवी प्रणमामि हरिप्रिये वंशकल्पतरुभ्यश्च कृपा सिन्धुभ्यैव च पतितानां पावनेभ्यो वैष्णवेभ्यो नमो नमः। जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैता गदाधर शिवासादि गौरभक्तवृंद। हरे कृष्ण 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे। So who is starting? Who are the starting chapter? Let me check. Who got chapter? Somebody got chapter 12. Who is giving chapter 12? Who is presenting chapter 12?
It's me, Prabhuji.
So you are supposed to start, please. Don't waste.
Okay,
Let's
Prabhu.
start. Who is chapter 13?
Me, Prabhuji.
So get ready, please. Chapter 14.
Me, Prabhu.
Yeah, please. Let us arrange ourselves and ready accordingly like that. 14. So 12, please. You have to start without waiting for that time, wasting for that time. Then 13 comes, then 14, then 15 is not here. Then 16 is not here. You see, I don't know why I gave them. Oh no. Now we have 17, then 18. It's not here also. Okay, let's start.
Meghna will present, Prabhuji. I don't have laptop with me.
Yeah, okay.
Prabhuji, I'm unable to share the screen.
It
Now
shows
you can.
only host can share, Prabhuji.
Now you can.
అరే స్టాప్ చేస్తూ ఉండు మేఘ్న. Put the video from the start.
This is what I don't like. We practicing on presentation time. We will have been ready before the time. Open the presentation down, practice, and just start. Please, those going next, take notes. Open it down, send it to whoever you want to send it to. Open it down when you're asked to present. Just open and present. Okay, let's start.
Okay, Prabhuji. Hare Krishna to everyone. Today I'm going to present the chapter 12, the path of the devotion, which is the Bhakti Yoga, where Lord Krishna teaches Arjuna and all of us about the Bhakti Yoga, the most personal and loving path to the God. Play, please. So here, Arjuna asks the question, which Arjuna starts this chapter with a deep question. Stop. Which devotee is more perfect? The one who worships you in your personal form, or one who worships the manifested forms of Brahman? So here Krishna's answer is, those who fix their minds on me with the faith and worship me with love, I consider them to be the most perfect. So he doesn't reject the formless path, but he says it much harder because the human mind struggles with abstract devotion. So take an example. Let's like trying to hug the wind versus the hugging a loud one. So we need to adjust the love towards the Krishna, whatever happens. So here Krishna makes it easy. The beauty of Bhakti Yoga, it's simplicity. Krishna says here, just fix your mind on me and become a devotee. Worship me, offer my obeisances to me, and you will become to me. So even if we can't meditate perfectly, Krishna still gives steps to follow. So first step to follow is the fix your mind. Wait now. First step to follow is to fix your mind and practice the remembrance and work for me and offer the results. So when a student who can't meditate for long but studies sincerely and offers her effort to the God is also a bhakti. Even 1 minute of praying the God is also bhakti. When we doing the works through while doing the works also we say like, God, I'm doing this one, after that I'll pray. Let's we Krishna makes it easy. Like however we pray him, he'll accept the way we pray. Play. Now we'll know who is dear to the Krishna. This part is so beautiful. Here Krishna lists the qualities of a true devotee, and these are universal values. So here we'll know what the values will need to go to here to the Krishna. So we need kind and compassionate, free from the ego and forgiving, calm in pleasure and the pain, content with the little and no envy or hatred. Stop. He says again and again, such a person is dear to me, very dear to me. Take an example, a nurse who is working patiently with a difficult patient, even though it's a bhakti in action. She is doing her duty with the truth of herself. Next. So bhakti is not for certain people. Bhakti is for everyone. You don't have to be a scholar or a monk or a super rich to practice the bhakti. Even a small act done with a love and devotion is accepted by the Krishna. So here example, a child is offering a flower, a student helping a classmate, and remembering Krishna in a stressful moment is all about the devotion. So people from different walks of life with light connecting to the Krishna. All is that everything is devotion and everything is bhakti, which you truly comes from the heart. So we can practice in bhakti in daily life also. So bhakti yoga is not something separate from life. It's in how we live. So daily activities of devotion, how can we do is saying a small prayer before the starting something is also a bhakti, and doing your work doing our work sincerely and offering it to God, and choosing kindness when ego wants to find is also a bhakti. Remembering Krishna when walking alone is also a bhakti, and listening to bhajanas while studying is also a bhakti. So bhakti yoga is not something separate from the life; it's in our routine. So what's the conclusion is, this conclusion is the heart of the chapter. So in short, the Krishna says, the Krishna is not asking for perfection, just sincere love. He makes the path accessible to everyone, anyone with any heart willing to the connect. The Gita says, such a devotee is very, very dear to me. So, what's the final message from the chapter 12 is, you don't need to reach the God by climbing the mountains. Just one loving step is enough. He comes to the rest of the way. So, what was we concluded is, if you had to offer one small act to Krishna, he'll accept. Every single is also is acceptable for the Krishna, and we'll just need to do through our love. That's it. Last plate. So Arjuna seeks here which path to choose. So Krishna says, love me, you can't lose. Fix your heart, serve with care. Be kind, forgiving, free from despair, calm in all, with envy none. My dearest devotee, you become. Thank you, Hare Krishna. If I say anything wrong, please forgive me. Hare Krishna.
Thank you very much. Hare Krishna. Thank you for your presentation. Hare Krishna. Ah, next.
Hare Krishna Prabhuji, next is Meghana.
I just stop sharing.
Meghana will be sharing my part too. Not that Meghana.
Said before that all our presentation should be opened down. My Krishna, so much time wasted just to open the presentation. What's going on?
Try again, Meghana.
What is going on, Meganan?
Prabhuji, I'm sharing Prabhuji. It's not visible to you.
Just you stop sharing first before you can share the other one. It's not it's still showing what you have before. Just the stop sharing first before you can open that one.
Okay, Prabhuji.
You can see the one you want to share. You are not clicking stop sharing. Simple. Now you click share again, then you will see the one you want to share, then you add it.
Yes. Hare Krishna, dear devotees. Today I will be presenting chapter 13, the Bhagavad Gita as it is, titled Nature, the Enjoyer and Consciousness, Prakriti, Purusha and Viveka Yoga. This chapter takes us into the heart of... Prabhuji, did you say anything?
Now, okay, now I can see.
Okay. This chapter takes us into the heart of spiritual knowledge, not just intellectual theory, but a shift in how we see ourselves, other, and the divine. It generally teaches us the real wisdom begins when we stop identifying ourselves within the body and understand our spiritual identity. Next slide, Meghana. Thank you. In this
Just press
chapter,
the arrow that showed next. Megan, and always the arrow, there's two arrows showing backward and forward. Just always click the forward when you want to go next. You don't need to use the cursor.
Okay, Prabhuji.
in this chapter, Krishna responds to Arjuna's deep inquiries by explaining 5 key terms that unlock the door of self-realization. Let's see each term. Kshetra is the field, refers to the body. It's where all our experiences, thoughts, and actions takes place. Kshetrajna, the knower of the field, is the soul, the conscious entity who identifies within the body and experiences its conditions. Paramatma is the super soul who resides in every body alongside of the individual soul, observing, guiding, and witnessing everything without any attachment. Prakriti is the material nature, the unconscious physical energy made of 3 modes, sattva, rajas, and tamas. It supplies the ingredients for the body and mind. Purusha is a spiritual enjoyer or the soul who desires and interacts with Prakriti. There's the individual Purusha, Jiva, and the Supreme Purusha is Krishna. Krishna explains that while the body and material nature are temporary and unconscious, the soul and super soul are eternal and they are conscious. This understanding is the beginning of real knowledge, seeing that we are not just body with a soul and a soul temporarily in the body accompanied by the Lord. Next slide. Now let's talk more about Kshetra. Krishna describes the body as the field, Kshetra, the place where where the experiences occur. It includes not only the physical body, but also the mind, intellect, and the ego. These are the temporary and changing, yet we, the soul, are the observer in this field. The body may grow by age and die, but the soul remains eternal and unaffected. That's why I mentioned there it is temporary and material. Next slide. Now we come to a key concept of the chapter 13, the Kshetrajna, the knower of the field. Here Lord Krishna explains that the soul or Atma is conscious of the body, which is referred to as the Kshetra, the field. In Bhagavad Gita 13.3, Krishna says, I'm also the knower in all bodies. This tells us that he is present as a super soul, the Paramatma in every living being. So Krishna reveals that there are 2 knowers of the body, the individual soul that is Jiva and the super soul or Paramatma that is Krishna himself. Prabhupada in his purpose very clearly explains that the individual soul is limited and identifies with just one body, but the super soul is unlimited and pervades all bodies, acting as a supreme witness and guide. Next slide. Paramatma, the supreme knower. In this slide, we focus on Paramatma or the super soul who is described as a supreme knower. Lord Krishna reveals that the Paramatma is present in the heart of every living being, whatever it is, like the animals and human beings. He silently guides, witnesses, and permits all our actions, even though we may not always be aware of his presence. Unlike the individual soul, which is limited, Krishna's Paramatma is the ultimate enjoyer and controller, fully conscious and all-knowing. Understanding this truth that Krishna is within us and he is our constant companion leads us to devotional service and ultimately to liberation from the cycle of birth and death. Next slide. In these verses 13.8 to 12, Lord Krishna explains that the true knowledge is not just about the intellectual information that we know, but it is about cultivating our divine qualities. Like the first one, humility, amanitvam, not seeking honor for oneself. Non-violence, ahimsa, is avoiding harm to others in body, not only body, mind, and words also. Tolerance is enduring hardships without becoming disturbed. Simplicity, being straightforward and free from duplicity. Devotion to the spiritual master, accepting a bona fide guru and serving him very sincerely. Steadiness, being firmly fixed in our spiritual practice. Self control is restraining the senses from material enjoyment. Detachment, not being overly attached to family or possessions. Constant reflection on birth, death, disease, and old age refers to realize our miseries with material existence. Unalloyed devotional service to Krishna is the pure service without any selfish motive. Above all, culmination of real knowledge is unalloyed devotional service to Krishna. Krishna concludes in verse 12 by saying, all else is ignorance, which reminds us to align our learning with spiritual truth. Next slide. So in this slide, we are looking at two important ideas from chapter 13 of Bhagavad Gita, Prakriti and Purusha. As we discussed earlier, Prakriti means nature or the material world. It's everything that make up our bodies, our environment, and the different qualities or modes which we experience, like goodness, passion, and ignorance. Basically, all the physical stuff we interact with comes from Prakriti. Purusha, on the other hand, is a living being, the soul, who wants to enjoy the material nature. We as the souls are called Purusha because we always try to seek happiness and experience through the material body and senses. Now, the problem happens when the soul starts to identify with the body and nature. We think, I am this body. And because of that, we get caught up and we suffer, we take repeated births, and we go through ups and downs in our life. But the Gita teaches us the real enjoyer is not us, the real enjoyer is Krishna. Prabhupada says our natural position is to serve Krishna, not trying to imitate him or controlling the world. When we realize this and act accordingly, that's when we move closer to true freedom and happiness. Next slide. So, by understanding our true role, not as enjoyers, but as servants of Krishna, we stop being trapped in the material world. Now, this naturally brings us to the next point, consciousness, because it's through our consciousness that we either stay bound to the material life or rise towards the liberation. Let's look at how consciousness play a crucial role. Now, in this slide, we focus on consciousness and liberation. First of all, consciousness is a symptom of soul. It's what shows that there is life in the body. It is that which is making difference between a dead body and the living body. Without soul, there is no consciousness. Now there are two types of consciousness, spiritual and material. Spiritual consciousness is understanding that we are eternal servants of Krishna. It's about recognizing our true relationship with him. Material consciousness is identifying ourselves with the body, thinking I am Indian, I'm African, I am Filipino, I'm rich, I am poor, I'm getting caught in temporary. This makes us to get caught in the bodily designations. Real liberation does not mean living the body. It means developing a spiritual consciousness by engaging in Bhakti Yoga or devotion to Krishna. We can go beyond birth and death to achieve true freedom. Next slide, Meghana. These verses from chapter 13 highlight three important truths. Kshetrajnam cha Ditti Sarva Kshetra. Lakshmi, can you turn on? First, Krishna says he is the knower in all bodies, and Upadeshantanumata Cha Bharata Bhokta Maheshwaraha. Second, he explains that he, as a super soul, he is the overseer, permitter, and ultimate enjoyer. Samam Pashyan hi Sarvatra Samastitan Ishwaram. And finally, Krishna says that one who sees the super soul equally in everyone attains the supreme destination. In short, understanding the super soul presence is the key to real knowledge and liberation. Next slide. Now let's reflect on some practical lessons which we can take from chapter 13 of Bhagavad Gita as it is. I'm not this body, I'm the eternal soul. This is one of the core teachings of Bhagavad Gita. It identifies that we are in the temporary material body, which but the eternal spiritual soul is Atma. Realizing this changes our entire outlook on life. Krishna is the supreme enjoyer, not me. We often try to control and enjoy the world which is around us, but Krishna teaches us that he is the true enjoyer. When we recognize his position, we can try to live our life in harmony with his will. Knowledge means devotion, humility, and service. In this chapter, Krishna outlines the qualities of true knowledge: humility, non-violence, tolerance, and devotion. See all living beings in with equal vision. A wise person sees beyond the external body, whether it is human, animal, or any other form. It recognizes same spiritual soul within everyone. Real happiness lies in surrendering to Krishna. At the end of the day, all knowledge and realization point to one conclusion, that true peace and happiness come from surrendering to Krishna with faith and love. Next slide. So, what we need to learn from chapter 13 is that we are not just this body, we are actually the soul inside. Krishna is the one who is in control, and we try to serve him with love, and we feel real happiness. This chapter taught me to be humble and kind to everyone and see all living beings equally. These are the lessons we can try to follow every day in our lives. Hare Krishna. Thank you so much, and please forgive me for my offenses.
Thank you very much for your presentation. Next.
Thank you, Meghana, for sharing.
Can you see my screen, Prabhu?
Yes, just appeared.
All right. So if you can see my screen, I will start now.
Yeah.
Okay. Good evening, Hare Krishna. My presentation for tonight is a summary of chapter 14, the three modes of material nature of Srimad Bhagavad Gita. Someone is talking. I'll continue. Okay, so I will be following the student handbook for the syllabus of this presentation. Follow along. We'll start with conditioning of the modes verses 1 to 9. So Krishna starts the chapter by saying that he is the seed-giving father of all the species of life in the universe. So this goes hand in hand with the explanation or statement given by Srila Prabhupada in one of his morning walks with his disciples that according to the scriptures, life comes from life. So modern science and technology tells us that life comes from matter. But actually, life comes from life and matter comes from life. And this life that we're talking about, the source, that is Krishna, because everything in the universe originates from him. He is the creator of everything in the universe. That is why all the teachings that we've learned from school, like the theory of evolution by Charles Darwin, the Big Bang Theory by Edward Lemaitre, these are all just theories. They are, yes, they have been substantiated by data, but they are not really backed up by real tangible evidentiary support. That is why they remain as theories and they're never going to be facts. But Krishna here is telling us himself that he is the seed-giving father of the universe. And as the creator or the source of everything, he impregnates the living entities into the material nature, and we come out into various forms at the time of creation according to our past deeds. And as living entities connects with the material energy, and then we are conditioned by the three modes of material nature. Let's go to the three modes of material nature now. As we have previously explained in class, the three modes of material nature are like puppeteers, and as living entities are like puppets being controlled with a string. And so it means that we are controlled. We are not in charge of anything here in this material universe. We are not in control, and we are not acting on our own volition. Everything is manipulated or influenced by the three modes of material nature. So let's go to the conditions of one that is living in one of these modes. So let's go to the mode of goodness. One that is in this platform is conditioned to happiness. While in the mode of passion, if you're conditioned to this one, then you have the tendency to do fruitive activities or actions. That is why you have unlimited desires and wants and needs. For the mode of ignorance, you are in mode of darkness. That is why your knowledge is covered and you're bound to madness. In verse 9, in the purport here, Srila Prabhupada explained that in the mode of ignorance, whatever one does is good neither for him nor for anyone. The reason for this statement is because in the mode of goodness, when you are in knowledge, you are practically doing things righteously or piously. While if you're in the mode of passion, yes, you are you have the tendency to do fruitive actions or activities, but you have this quality of being altruistic, being giving. So you tend to donate to charity or you tend to help the poor. While if you are in a mode of ignorance, you are not helpful. You are not beneficial to yourself nor to anyone. Let's go to the second portion of the chapter, characteristics, action, and death in the modes, verses 10 to 18. All right, so I would present here like a table in front of you, and I will not go into the details of the three modes because we don't have the time for that. But if you really want to get to know the three modes of material nature and know the qualities of a person displaying one of these three modes, you can go to Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto 11, General History, Chapter 25, the modes of nature and beyond. Okay, so let's go to the characteristics. It says here that the three modes are always competing for supremacy. They're always fighting against each other. Sometimes the mode of goodness will be prominent and it defeats both passion and ignorance, but sometimes passion or ignorance may prevail over goodness. That is why they're always competing. For manifestations, you can just read, and for the destination after death, and there's also your action in the modes, you can just take a screenshot, or even this has been thoroughly explained by Prabhu Kavi in class before, so there's no need to present or explain derivative content. Okay, so just take a screenshot as a reminder. But the most important thing here is in the manifestation around the mode of goodness. When you're in the mode of goodness, it says here that you have controlled the urges of the senses. Okay, so that is our goal. For passion and ignorance, although they are reoccurring in our lives, we need to control ourselves and we need to make sure that we are performing activities in the mode of goodness all the time. And also, that is not an easy task. That is a very hard obstacle because we're just, we're living entities. We tend to do things that are not right. We tend to also put things off. That is why it's so hard to get to the platform of goodness. But since it's a lifelong pursuit, there's no need to rush, okay? Just take things slowly, focus on your chanting and focus on the four regulative principles, and you will get there eventually. Let's go to the most important part of the chapter, transcending the modes, verses 19 to 27. All right, so I was telling earlier that the modes of material nature are always controlling us, the living entities, but there is someone above or beyond the three modes of material nature, and that is Krishna, and his activities are transcendental to the modes. We can connect this with the purport of verse 10 in this particular chapter, that if you are determined, you can be blessed by the mode of goodness. And by transcending the three modes, even the mode of goodness, you can be situated in pure goodness or Sudasattva, which is called the Vasudev state, a state in which you can understand the science of God. So we can now go to verse 20, that if you have transcended the three modes, this is the result. You will become free from birth, death, old age, and their distresses, and you can even enjoy nectar in this life. Self-explanatory, no need to explain. In verse 21, Arjuna asked Krishna 3 questions. These are the questions. What are the symptoms of one who has transcended the modes? What are his behavior? And how do you transcend the three modes? Krishna answers both symptoms and behavior in verses 22 to 25. You can just read. The commonality here in these bullet points are the primary symptom of, or symptoms of one that has transcended the three modes of material nature is being equipoised and reaching the level of equanimity, meaning that you are undisturbed. You are unbothered by the things around you, everyone's actions around you, your environment. So you are very neutral and you have reached a level of not being affected by your external surroundings, even your mind. Okay. So how do you transcend the three modes? The third question. This is answered by Krishna in verse 26, that if you engage in full devotional service, or bhakti, and failing in all circumstances, you will at once transcend the three modes of material nature and thus come to the level of Brahman. So we can now go to the conclusion of the chapter. I will use the purport of verse 26, where Srila Prabhupada explained that if you surrender unto Krishna, you will at once surmount the influence of the three modes of material nature. To be in Krishna consciousness or in devotional service means to acquire equality with Krishna. If you are not situated in the same transcendental position with the Lord, you cannot serve the Supreme Lord. Srila Prabhupada has given us here an example that if you want to become a personal assistant of the king, you cannot just do that by default. You need to acquire the qualifications needed to become his personal assistant. Just like any governmental position, you must have all the qualifications and none of the disqualifications. And in this case, the qualification is to become Brahman, or freed from all material contamination. That is why we are learning so much from the scriptures that we need to cultivate qualities that are in a mode of goodness in the way we speak, the way we act, the way we think, the way we eat, the way we interact, and so many things. Everything that we do in our lives that is controlled by our senses, and we need to do it in a mode of goodness. Although that is it's easy to say. Every single time we talk about these things, it's always easy to say, but it's hard to commit to because there's so many obstacles, there's so many challenges and tests around us that really just spoils our practice. But that doesn't mean you need to give up, okay? Just focus on your devotional service, in your practice, keep chanting Hare Krishna, and you will be fine, okay? Although it's a long way from reaching the platform of mode of goodness, that is not even the end all be all. For us, the mode of goodness is just one of those platforms that we need to reach before we even attain the level of pure goodness or Sudasattva. And to be in the level of pure goodness or the Vasudev state or being Brahman, meaning that is even beyond the mode of goodness, meaning that you have to transcend even the highest level of being like a decent human being. So that's really hard to achieve. And so when you come to the level of Brahman, that is the ultimate goal for us devotees, because to reach that level, you will now acquire or obtain the ultimate goal for us devotees, which is to have an eternal relationship with the Lord. And meaning you can attain the Lord and you can now stay in his abode, Krishna Loka or Goloka Vrindavan. Okay, so that is why we're learning this chapter 14, the three modes of material nature. Thank you for listening. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, thank you very much for your presentation. Hare Krishna. So who is going next? 15. Who is Moon Angel? Are you presenting? Yes, left. 16. Who is
Hare Krishna Prabhu, I think I can share Mother Angel's presentation.
okay, you can do that. If she has
Okay.
given to do. Yes, ma'am.
Please tell me if the audio is not playing.
Okay.
Bhagavad Gita as it is, chapter 15, the Yoga of the Supreme Person. Summary. Verses 1 to 5. This verse begins by describing the banyan tree as an indestructible tree of illusion where the entanglement of this material world exists, with roots upward representing the Supreme Person and branches downwards representing the material world. The tree symbolizes the cycle of birth and death, nourished by three modes of material nature. When it is said that a person knows the Vedas, it is assumed that he knows how to cut off attachment to this material world. The basic principle of devotional service is detachment. Detachment from material desires and activities, and attachment to the transcendental service of the Lord and surrendering to Krishna. Verses 6 to 11, it is talk about the identity of living beings in material world, and Krishna also explains the transmigration of the soul from one body to another after death and reborn either in material or spiritual world depending on karma. And if he fixes his consciousness on godly qualities, he will change into the form of a demigod. And if he is in Krishna consciousness, he will be transferred to Krishna Loka in the spiritual world and will associate with Krishna, and he will be happy forever. Verses 12 to 15. These verses explains the energy of Supreme Lord in our solar system. the sun, moon, each planet, and the fire of digestion in the bodies of living entity as sustainer of everything. He is the source of all knowledge, and he is situated as Paramatma in everyone's heart. Verses 16 to 18. The Supreme Person Lord Krishna explains the two classes of living entity, the fallible and infallible. And beyond these two, there is greatest living personality, the Supreme Soul, the imperishable Lord Himself, and His inconceivable potencies that the living entities, either in the conditioned state or liberated state, cannot surpass in quantity because He is transcendental. The last verse, which is 19 to 20, now in this verse, the Supreme Personality of Godhead clearly explains that anyone who knows Lord Krishna to be the Supreme Person is actually the knower of everything, stating such knowledge leads to liberation, wisdom, and fulfillment of one's duties. Thus, one will become intelligent and perfect in transcendental knowledge. In other words, by understanding this philosophy of the Supreme Personality of Godhead and engaging in His transcendental service, everyone can become freed from all contaminations of the material nature. That's all. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Thank you very much for sharing that. Yeah. Okay. So, chapter 16, given to Chaitanya Chandra. I don't think he has done it. 16 was given to Chaitanya Chandra. Then 17 was given to Madhavju. Oh. So, Prabhu David, you want to give yours?
Okay, that's a good idea because I have to teach a class now and my students are getting hungry.
I understand. Thank
Can
you.
everyone hear me? Let me draw this up. Um, okay, let's do. Hi.
The student for minutes.
Yes, please. Please talk to the students. Let's do that. Okay. Does that look right? All right. Now, hopefully I remember. Okay. So the 18th chapter is an interesting chapter because it really is, it just draws back on everything that was presented in the first 17 chapters, really. But I suppose the underlying question that Arjuna still has is doubt, right? I mean, after all, he's murdering family members, I think one must be certain, right? And so the concepts of Kesi Usadana and Sri Kesa come to play. The purpose of renunciation, there's two sort of pathways. They're not exactly the same, but they share most qualities. I would say that sannyasi is much more renounced, right? I mean, much stricter order of prescribed duties that need to be followed. There's a reason why they're renounced, I suppose, and then the Tiaga, giving up all the fruitful activities. And I think that's something that I've really come to understand this year, you know, in all of my meditations, is that, you know, yeah, I'm still thinking about it. Okay. So, all action is a matter of devotion. This is summarized in verse 7 and verse 9. You know, people should still, and this kind of confused me a little bit because I missed this class. And so I would have asked the question about, well, you know, they're still talking about animal sacrifices being okay. And I'm thinking, what's this all about? Anyway, I don't think I need to know, but all the same, yeah. So, yeah. 1810 and 1811 was the one that really got my attention, because that was something I have been thinking about quite a while, because in the path towards Krishna consciousness, there is this peeling off of a layer of material bondage that, you know, it's there, it surrounds you, it's part of you, it's you know, whatever traditions, or some people are tied by family things, and you know, other things tie you to this plane, right? And I liked how, you know, Prabhupada explained that, you know, you can't get too discouraged when your progress is slow, because, you know, you're actually waking up, and, you know, all these things are all hoisted upon you, and you have to manage them. So all of these things have put us into this position where we are at this moment right now. You know? And I mean, how easy it would be just to say, oh, yippee, I don't have a care in the world anymore. I'm just going to chant and walk the earth and not have a single concern. But I have all these things that do tie me to the material existence. Then those things and other things tie. So I was really enlightened by this part. This one was important for me too, because one of the biggest problems I think people have, me in general, I mean, I'm not that judgmental anymore, but I remember when I used to be. And that concept is, you know, so much the idea that you are the doer, and really you're not. And it's a lot more peaceful to avoid that type of judgment. But sometimes we do get lost in the idea that, because, you know, maybe you're doing a traveling, you know, kirtan, you're like gathering everybody and you're going and you're making all this energy go, and you believe somehow that this energy that you're putting forth is, you know, you are the doer. You know, you get confused in that line, even though you're not the doer, right? You're just, you are in a way. I mean, you know, sometimes, you know, it's hard to understand. Purport: anyone who is acting in Krishna consciousness under the direction of the super soul or the supreme personality of Godhead, even though killing, does not kill, nor is he ever affected by the reaction of such killing. Yeah, I think that when you have this type of knowledge, no one in the material plane can argue with you. Yeah. But it makes it really hard for them to understand some of these ideas at the same time, you know. Yeah. Seeing the super soul in everything is important, right? These acts of our goodness is you have to have knowledge together with action, and, you know, you have to have a clear heart, you know, not expecting results from your actions, but doing them because that's right. The scriptures give us a lot of direction as to how we should behave and what we should do. And as I become more educated in this way, I think that, I look back on some of, my ways of thinking, and I understand them. But they make a lot more sense now. Um, and the real act of goodness, I think, is to recognize sometimes that those things that do get under our skin or irritate us sometimes are exactly those things that are nectar. If we just have the perseverance and patience to see it through. And I want to thank you all so much. And I hope you enjoyed my presentation and I didn't offend anybody. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, thank you very much for your presentation. So it's going next. Madam Iju, Sister Iju, are you there?
Me, me Prabhu Kavi.
Hare Krishna here.
Yeah. Yeah, Mother Shaya, we listen to you as the last because she's giving number 17 first.
Okay.
Madam Iju, yes, you can go ahead.
Okay.
Madam Iju, what up? Is it not coming up? Or do you need some time to open it down?
Sorry, I thought I was sharing my screen.
No. You have not started sharing it. You have to stop
Oh,
sharing
really?
and
But it
you have to
says here.
share the screen. You have to share it again.
Oh, sorry. Let me take that again because I did a recorded thing because I didn't know when the presentation was going to. Give me a second. Let me just stop sharing and then share again. Window. Hmm, window.
Or while you are opening down, should we take Mother Shaya's?
Okay, maybe you should because I thought I was sharing the first time, so
No. Mother Shaya, you can
perhaps
go
you
ahead.
could.
While we are waiting, while she try to open a folder. If you are ready. Mother Shaya, are you ready?
Yes, Prabhu Kavi. I'll share. Yes, Prabhu Kavi, you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you now.
Yeah, okay. I'll share now. Share. Can you see my screen?
Yeah, we can see now.
Yes.
Okay. Swami Maharaj, all glories to Srila Prabhupada, all glories to all the Vaishnava devotees. Today, I will be presenting the chapter 18 conclusions, the perfections of the renunciations, verse 40.78 summary. So this is a continuation to Prabhu David 1, which is in chapter 18, presented by your servant, Ashaya Devi Dasi, and our instructor, Kavi Karnapurna Das Prabhu. So here in verses 40 to 45, natural orders and duties. So in the material world, no one is free from the influence of the three modes of the material nature, which is actually in goodness, passion, and ignorance. According to these modes and one's work, Krishna created four social divisions. So these are called varnas. So these four varnas, we have brahmanas. They are teachers, spiritual guides. They are mostly like they are very peaceful, self-controlled. They're very like forgiving, and they are very wise. And the second one are kshatriyas. So mostly the kshatriyas are the leaders. So they are protectors. They are very courageous and determined. So example of these are like Arjuna, the Pandavas. They're actually in the Kshatriyas. And then Vaishyas, they're actually businessmen, farmers. They maintain economy, trade, and they protect the cows. And the last one are the Sudras. These people's service providers. They assist others with humility. So Srila Prabhupada explains in the 18.41 purport that the whole idea of that society should be divided into four classes according to work and qualifications, not by birth. So this reminds us that we should honor every honest role in the society and not disrespect anyone based on occupation. So we just not just respect people because they have like high educations or that it is clearly mentioned here by Srila Prabhupada. And verse 4650, perfections through one's duty. So Krishna says if we perform our duty or sarva dharma sincerely, even with flaws, it is better than doing someone else perfectly. So I have given an example here in the picture. A husband and a wife. If the husband earns and protects, and the wife manages the home and raises children spiritually, both can attain perfections if they act with devotion and offer everything to Lord Krishna. So Srila Prabhupada writes, a man who works according to his own nature and who does not mix others is sure to reach the supreme renounce for just really close to my heart because um, I'll be very honest with everyone and I wanted to be like raw also. Like when you actually like live in the temple, you have the Lord Krishna because my mom is telling me, oh, you have a high education. Why you're like going there? You're not earning money, something like that. But then when I traveled to one of the country, I see the devotees there, how they balance their spirituality and their material life. So it does not mean that you have to fully renounce. So I'm very grateful to Prabhu Kabi, to the senior devotees, to Prabhu Mahenda that I am doing my service. At the same time, I am actually trying to engage also in my material work, which is actually like doing my business. So I can also take care of my family. Um, and then verses 51 to 55, the path of self-realizations and ability. So this one, Krishna lists qualities like humility, control of mind, celibacy, cleanliness, and non-violence, which help one advance on the spiritual path. But in 18.55 purport, Srila Prabhupada makes it clear, only by devotional service can one understand the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Even if we are not perfect, bhakti devotion is a direct path. So daily life example, someone may be working long hours but chance and avoid meat and helps at the temple on the weekend or whatever the availability. That person is practicing bhakti and purifying their heart. So as mentioned earlier, that it does not mean that you have to renounce live in the temple. It's not working like that. Even though you are working, if you're a student but you're very sincere, you really find time to chant your rounds. I wanted to share this, that actually chanting the holy name is the size that even though we are chanting with offenses, we still have to do it. And we have to beg Guranga Mahaprabhu's mercy, please, my Lord, Srila Prabhupada, guide me so I can chant your holy name without offenses. And it is also a beautiful thing if you have friends that you can chant with them, because when you chant with other people, you actually, like, how do you call, you support each other and you become more stronger, because sometimes when we are at home we become so complacent, and it is very hard to chant the holy names. I have my personal experience when I went back for vacation, so I'm very grateful that we have this chanting sangha where we can really, like, help each other, chant together even. And chapter 56 to 63, acting under Krishna's direction. So here, Krishna's direction encourages Arjuna to act as his instrument, not out of pride, ego, but in surrender. Srila Prabhupada explains 18.58 purport 1 should act according to the order of the Lord. That is very important point. Even if we're doing simple job, if we say, Krishna, let me do this for you, then it's not longer karma bound. It becomes a spiritual service. So as I've mentioned earlier, you don't have to live in the temple. You can work, you can be a student, but you always offer for the Lord. This is your offering. Your job is your offering to Lord Krishna. Your study is your offering to the Lord. So it will not become a karma bound. It becomes a spiritual service. And then here, verses 64 to 66, the most confidential knowledge. Krishna now opens his heart. Think of me, become my devotee, worship me, and offer obeisances unto me. Surely you will come to me. And in verse 66, he also mentioned, abandon all varieties of dharma and just surrender to me. I will deliver you from all sinful reactions. Do not fear. Srila Prabhupada also mentions, this is the most confidential part of knowledge, the essence of the Gita, 18.66 purport. In our daily lives, this means whatever happens, just trust Krishna. He's not asking for big sacrifices, just love and surrender. So I love this verse in the Bhagavad Gita that mentioned, like, offer me a leaf of flower but with love and devotions. And whatever you do it as an offering for me. It's one of my favorite verses also. It's a reminder that even though we are working, we are studying, we are grihastra, we have husband, wife, children, we always do and always meditate on Krishna, just like the gopis. Even though that they have their duties and responsibilities, they always meditate on Krishna, like churning the butter, cooking for their family. They always meditate to Krishna. So that is actually Krishna consciousness. And here, sharing the Gita, Krishna warns, don't share this knowledge with the envious or faithless, but for the sincere. One who preaches this message of mine becomes most dear to me. Srila Prabhupada beautifully says, there is no servant in this world more dear to me than he. 18.69 purport. Even if we just listen to the Gita with faith, Krishna promises we become spiritually elevated. So actually, I was reading Bhagavad Gita before, but I can't understand because it was so profound. What really helped me. I have my Siksha Guru. He told me, Ashaya, for you to be able to understand the Bhagavad Gita, maybe you can watch Mahabharat. So when I started watching Mahabharat, it was easier for me to understand the Bhagavad Gita. And here, verses 72 to 73, Arjuna's transformations. At the beginning, Arjuna was confused and afraid. Now he says, my illusion is gone. I am ready to act according to your word. Srila Prabhupada writes, this is the right path, understanding Bhagavad Gita and becoming determined to act just like us. Sometimes we're unsure, but by hearing Krishna's words, our mind becomes clear and we gain confidence in our purpose. So it is true sometimes Maya is also Krishna is very strong. Sometimes it's actually bewildering as based on my personal experience when I was just chanting and I'm not reading. It's totally different. But when you go together, like my Guru Maharaj said, it's like the railways of the train. When you actually chant the holy name and then when you realize, because we have the knowledge, we will still be reminded that I should not act like this because this is not pleasing to my Guru, this is not pleasing to Srila Prabhupada, this is not pleasing to the Lord. So reading Bhagavad Gita, even though we don't understand it at the beginning, by the right guidance of a bona fide teacher, we will be able to understand it as long as we are determined. And here, chapter 74 to 78, Sanjaya's reflection. Sanjaya says, where Prabhupada explains, if we simply work sincerely under the guidance of 18.78 purport, make Krishna the center of your marriage, career, friendship, victory will follow. So I really love Mahabharat because actually I was like Duryodhana is so evil. He's done so much demonic things to the Pandavas. But even though I remember when Krishna asked Duryodhana, which will you choose? Are you gonna choose me or are you gonna choose my thousands a soldier? But then still Duryodhana chose the soldiers thinking he will win, but Arjuna choose only Krishna. And why the Pandavas always win? They win in the battlefield of Kurukshetra because they always have Krishna in them. And it was mentioned as explains earlier by Srila Prabhupada that if we always have Krishna in our life, even though there's tremendous how do you call it difficulties, we just have to meditate on him. Just like the Pandavas, undergo so much trials, tests, but they always surrender to Krishna. They always pray to Him. They always take shelter in His lotus feet. Surely, they actually succeed. So, as mentioned earlier, that we should put Krishna in our marriage. We should put Krishna in our career, especially in our friendship. Also, when you put Krishna in all this area of your life, you will become very blissful. Conclusion, relatable takeaway, we don't need to leave our family, job, or home. We just need to do our duties with bhakti, with love for Krishna. Srila Prabhupada assure us, whatever you do it for Krishna. That is perfection. Let us follow the example of Arjuna. Accept Krishna's guidance, act with devotions, live a life of purpose. Thank you so much, everyone, and please forgive me for my offenses. Panchakalpa Tarubhyas Raki Pasidum Eva Cha. Tita ng Pavanevyo Vaishnavyo Namo Namaha. Thank you so much.
Hey Krishna, thank you very much for your presentation. And the last one, what I would do?
Okay, let me try again. Just let me know if you can see my screen.
Okay.
Can you see this? Can you?
It's coming up. Yeah, now we can see.
Okay, I'll just begin. It's pre-recorded.
Okay.
Can you hear anything?
No. No recording.
Okay, I'll just talk through. I recorded it earlier because okay, let me just talk through. Okay, so welcome everyone. This is a summary of chapter 17 of the Bhagavad Gita titled The Divisions of Faith. The chapter opens with Arjuna asking Sri Krishna to explain the situation of those who, though they may have faith, but are not worshipping the divine in accordance with the principles of scripture. Sri Krishna explains that one's faith can be of three kinds, either in the mode of goodness, passion, or ignorance, according to the particular nature acquired by the embodied soul. And now I think that we should understand that faith in this context actually means the values that drive one's life and not necessarily what you believe, because there are many people who believe one thing and do another thing. Faith in the mode of goodness involves the worship of demigods. Faith in the mode of passion is the worship of demons for personal gain, while faith in the mode of ignorance is the worship of ghosts and spirits out of fear and superstition. Sri Krishna goes on to explain how faith in the different modes influences our actions within the context of food, sacrifices, austerities, and charity. Now we'll focus on activities within the mode of goodness. Food in the mode of goodness increases life, purifies one's existence, and gives strength, health, happiness, and satisfaction. Sacrifices in the mode of goodness are performed according to scripture and as a matter of duty without desire for a reward. Austerities in the mode of goodness are of three kinds. There's austerity of the body, which consists in worship of the Supreme Lord, the Brahmanas, the spiritual master, superiors like father and mother, in cleanliness, simplicity, brahmacharya, and non-violence. Austerity of speech consists in speaking words that are truthful, pleasing, beneficial, and not agitating to others, while austerity of the mind involves satisfaction, simplicity, gravity, self-control, and purification of one's existence. Charity in the mode of goodness is given out of duty, without expectation of return, at the proper time and place, to a worthy person. The Vedas do not encourage indiscriminate charity, because if the beneficiary uses the alms that we have given them for an evil deed, we ourselves also incur karma. And in order to prevent this, in the next slide, Sri Krishna teaches us what to do in order to divinize all our actions. Sri Krishna teaches us to invoke the Om Tat Sat mantra before the commencement of any charity, sacrifice, or penance. This mantra indicates the supreme absolute truth, and it ensures that our actions are channeled to the divine and they do not lead to material entanglements. Chapter 17:28 specifically says that any sacrifice, penance, or charity that is done without faith in the Supreme is asat, that is, it is false, it is impermanent, and it is useless both in this life and the next. I will now conclude by highlighting the key takeaways from chapter 17. The first and perhaps the most fundamental point is that as your faith, so your life. As your faith, so your actions. The second point is that every living being is originally a fragmental part of the Supreme Lord and therefore transcendental to all modes of material nature. It is only our contact with Maya that makes us forget our relationship with the Supreme. The third point is that we need to understand our own tendencies and choose actions that are in alignment with the higher values. One's acquired nature, whatever it be, can be improved by association with a bona fide spiritual master and abiding by scriptural regulations. Without good association, we cannot achieve transcendental knowledge. The fourth point is that food, penance, sacrifice, and charity in any of the three modes are all conditioned. It is only when they are aimed at the Supreme through the Om Tat Sat that they can become means of spiritual elevation. The fifth point is that progress on the spiritual path is achieved through a combination of knowledge, devotion, and disciplined living. And finally, When faith in the Supreme matures, it is called love of God. This love of God is the ultimate goal of all living entities. Thank you for listening. Hare Krishna.
Thank you very much, Madam Iju. Even though she's not in our group, I just call her to come and give impromptu invitation, and quickly she responded. Thank you very much. We really appreciate the presentation, and all other devotees. All your presentation wonderful. We really appreciate all. And that brings us to the end of Bhagavad Gita study. I was suggesting that we continue with Nectar Devotion. I don't know how many of you want to join on them Nectar Devotion every Sunday evening. Okay, raise your hand if you want to be participating in Nectar Devotion Sunday evenings. Sunday evenings, you can have Nectar of Devotion. Okay, how many? Not many are not interested. Use the emoji. Mother Megananda, if you are interested, use emoji. We'll do every.
Prabhu, I'm searching for where is the hand. Like I was not using the laptop.
You're not using to emoji. Okay. Okay, so you're interested also. Oh, that is very nice. So Sunday evening we will start after on the 18th of Sunday. After Nishinga Chatodasi next Sunday. On the 18th we will start. At least we have 5 of you interested, and there's some other devotees from other here also, from other ashrams also. We'll be including them also. So thank you very much for showing interest. So we will continue with Nectar of Devotion. It's a very, very nice one. Also, in Bhagavad Gita, we have been talking about devotion, devotion, devotion. So Nectar of Devotion is going to tell you how to practically engage in that devotion. Okay? So thank you very much, everyone. Hare Krishna. So see you. I will communicate with you in the group when we're about to start. That will be after Nishinga Chatodasi. I have another meeting by 8 o'clock. Thank you very much. See you. And we keep in